Now we follow up with Professor Alfio Quarteroni, Politecnico di Milano, and Emeritus Professor at EPFL Lausanne. He's the founder and director of MOX at Politecnico di Milano, the founder of Matixe at EPFL Lausanne, the co-founder and president of MOXOF, a spin-off company at Politecnico di Milano, co-founder of Matesia 2015 and of Math and Sport 2016. He has been director of the Chair of Modeling and Scientific Computing and the EPFL Lausanne. He's the author of 22 books, several of them with multiple editions and translated into several languages. Editor of 12 books, author of more than 350 research papers, member of the editorial board of the 25th International Journals. Please, sir.
Thank you very much. So, okay, can I use the mouse? Okay, fine, for the mouse. So first of all, thank you very much. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here this afternoon. And I'd like to tell you that I'm talking about something that I don't really know, nothing about. I'm talking about art. Obviously, there's a lot of art here. I'm talking about music, and I'm really miserable in both things. But how did this story start? Well, this was last fall. And Daniele called me, I remember it was Saturday afternoon, and he called me and he said, look, Marcello Morandini has a fantastic foundation, is going to be inaugurated soon, and there was a visit to some of his paintings, and two musicians had the idea that there should be some music issuing from these paintings. And suddenly they had the idea of starting a project and say, no, stop. I want to put some mathematics behind. And so that's why he called me, and I don't know why he called me. And they told him that I didn't have any experience on that. He sent me this fantastic book. And of course, as I guess most of you have experienced, you are absolutely trapped by these paintings. I mean, you start admiring them, and it's very hard to detach. They are so fantastic. They are so beautiful. So I asked my colleague Paola Gervasio is here to start trying to do something, and this is the way the whole story began. So the idea is this one, and of course this is a very, very preliminary study. Remember, this is not my business at all. We start from one painting. And the idea is to extract music from every one of those paintings, right? And so let them play. So let me anticipate one of the possible outcomes. This is the first type of exercise. We made two types of exercises using different types of mathematics. The first type of exercise is that we have a specific painting and we want to find the best fit in terms of music. I mean, is there a musician with a specific music which can be associated with this painting? And of course, this is very subjective, right? But since we are mathematicians, we try to put some objective criteria. And I will try to explain which are those objective criteria. And we did it for a bunch of paintings. I think there are maybe 14, the number of paintings that we considered. Of course, we could consider many more, but this is just a matter of time. And we selected a certain number of composers, so musicians. And for every musician, we selected 4 music tracks. Again, you can put as many as you wish. This is just a matter of having the time for doing that. And then we try to find the right name associated with a specific painting and the right music track. This was the first type of exercise, okay? So, for instance, for this painting, just anticipate that the result is this, you see Tchaikovsky concerto, what's happening here? Who is using Chrome? Not me. Maybe you can go back. Can you go back, please? Puoi tornare indietro? Per favore. Oh my God. Ok, no, indietro. Ottimo, così. All right. So the best fit for this painting is the concerto number 12 in... devo mettere gli occhiali perché non vedo. Sorry. I need my glasses. Let's do farming. Forgot to do that. So this is il concerto in D maggiore, opera 15, per violino e piano. So maybe you can have the sound now. Okay. So next is this one. So it's another painting, and the best fit for this is L'estate, il terzo movimento di Vivaldi. Maybe we can play now. So it's a bit complicated, sorry, but it takes some. It's a kind of multimedia. Okay, thank you. So we could go forever, but I guess all the Italians know that. So this is for you, Terry. So try to go, all right, fine. So now we try to explain what is behind. So this is mathematics. So those who are not mathematicians, they can get a little nap here, right? And so what is behind? That's the idea. That's the idea that we had. You start from a specific music. We selected 14 composers, say, musicians, and for each of them 4 music, so for a total about 48, say. We start from a music, and we associate to the music the signal, the music track, say. Then we try to Fourier transform or Wavelet transform this music. So those are mathematical transformations. Mathematicians know them very well. You can use either this or that. So we prefer to use Wavelet transform because they are more appropriate. So the idea is that we start from this and we try to find wavelet coefficients. All right? So to have a mathematical label behind the music. And now we start from a painting. This painting, for instance, from Maestro Morandini. So we start from this painting. We have a grayscale at position x and y. So for every position, we have a function which measures the amount of gray, the density of gray in this case. So 0 is white, 1 is black, and then, of course, you have intermediate values. And then we apply the Fourier transform of the wavelet transform. So we have the wavelet coefficients of the painting. So now we have the wavelet coefficients of the music and wavelet coefficients of the painting, okay? And so first of all, the paintings are 2D. So thank you very much for not having sculpture, because it would have been much more complicated here. But of course, one possibility to try to flatten the image, and there are different ways to get from a 2D picture a 1D picture. One is following the lexicographic order. The other one is to have a spiral and then try to follow the spiral, and you end up with something like this. And then you have 1D wavelet transform. So you can use either the 2D wavelet transform or the 1D wavelet transform. And luckily, you will see that the result is not that affected by this choice, fortunately. Okay? So this is then the idea. We have the music, the signal, and the spectra, the wavelet spectra. And then we have another music, and we have, say, little n musics, and we have little n spectra. And for each of them, every spectra, say, has capital N coefficients. So it's like projecting the Fourier series, taking the truncated of the Fourier series or the truncated of the wavelet series at the order n, say, capital N. And we generate the subspace of these coefficients. And then when you have a painting, we consider its spectrum and we project the spectrum on the subspace. So we basically, it's an L2 projection, right? We found the minimal distance in this metric, numerical metric. And then this projection is the element of the subspace that minimizes the distance from the painting. So we try to establish a kind of minimal distances from the painting and the musics that we are considering the subspace. That's the idea. Okay? All right. We can use different type of bases, wavelet bases. Of course, this is plenty of new possibilities. And this is the work by 3 students, master students who are here. They use different type of wavelets. And indeed, you see that if you increase capital N, the differences between the different type of representation of the painting is tending to 0, luckily, which means that there is a kind of, say, uniqueness, asymptotically speaking, right? Which is good news, I think. Okay, end of mathematics. Okay, now you see the way we have been using this idea of associating a painting with music. So Paolo has been able to go much further and to try to realize what I consider personally to be a dream, to have one little applet here, right? You put it on near every painting, and then there is a visitor in the click, and immediately he listens a sound, and the sound is the sound of so the best fit, the best possible musical realization of that. And this is the applet, right? Now you don't see it practically, but it's on the computer, so it's something that is done. So you have a database here. You start from a painting. You have, well, many different paintings. You can put as many as you wish, right? And then you select the composers and the tracks of the composers. And then for the painter, you have you click, and you get its wavelet transform, say. You do the same for the musics that you have been selecting, and then you make this L2 projection. And with this projection, you end up with the trace of the music that is selected, and this is the wavelet spectrum of the projection, say. And you click, and you have this type of pi, and the pi tells you which are the selected elements in the basis that you are considering here. So, very roughly speaking, for those who are not used to this type of representation, the more monochromatic it is, the higher the fit. So ideally, if you have something with a single color, it means that you have a perfect fit, right? If you have many different colors, more or less balanced, well, it means that it's hard to find, say, a reasonable fit. So this is something which is completely automatized now. You can again, in principle, create a little trick that you put on every painting, and immediately you can have this answer. We have the affinity or similarity matrix. You see all the paintings over there. You see the composers over there: Bach, Beethoven, Bizet, Gershwin, Gellir Morton, Morricone, Mozart, Tchaikovsky, Vivaldi, and of course you can get a much larger matrix. And here is the type of fit that you can find. So we just put the say green when you have a very nice fit, and you put red cross when the fit is much worse. For instance, don't try to play Bach for this type of painting. Don't try to play Tchaikovsky for this type of painting. But for instance here, Tchaikovsky is perfect. And where is the other one? There's another green, this one. For this painting, Gershwin is perfect. Well, perfect, I mean that there is a very nice trace of similarity. So this is just one example, right? Mozart. If I have to say, globally speaking now, for all the paintings that we have been using, which are the best fit, generally speaking, I would say that the Mozart with the Sinfonia 40, Vivaldi with Estate, Gershwin with American in Paris, Morricone per un pugno di dollari. So, congratulations. I don't know if you like those authors, ma Maestro Morandini, se le piacciono questi autori, è in buonissima compagnia. So let's try to see if this is the case. So here is one painting, and maybe you can play Gershwin, which is a very good fit. Vediamo se funziona. So you are overlapping 4 different songs, 4 different music tracks, But the dominant part is this one, the Americano a Parigi, the American in Paris, right? Riusciamo a sentire Tchaikovsky? That's really horrible, so. No, giusto? Cos'è questo? Bach. È Tchaikovsky questo? È terribile. Quindi avete una dimostrazione in diretta che non capisco niente di musica. Assolutamente. Se pensavate che mi imbrogliassi e facessi il falso modesto, non è così. Okay, sorry, we cannot listen back. Let's move on and see if I can, maybe at the end. Okay, and now is the second approach, which is completely different, right? The first one was purely driven by mathematics, without any emotional involvement, without any, I would say, artistic involvement, right? Just a matter of establishing a metric between paintings and music. And now it's a different story, because it happened that the brother of one of my PhD students is here. The PhD student, unfortunately, the brother is not here because he's busy with the. He's a student of music at the University of in Milano, and this is the idea. The idea is that we try to put, say, the musician in front of a painting and let him be inspired freely, no mathematics behind, right? So we start from there, and we anticipate that we create a database that we use to train a neural network, an artificial neural network. And this artificial neural network eventually will be able to start from a new painting and find a new music. So here there is a bit of creativity as well, right? What you'll find at the end is not necessarily something that you know already. So this is the inspiration part, right? And of course, every painting has its inspiration protocol. Okay. This is just one example. Okay, that's the way. Say this painting inspires this musician, these young musicians. So the painting is divided into three parts. Of course, if you change the musician, you will have a different type of interpretation, right? So this is very subjective. So the painting is divided into three parts. For the lower part, the bass is used to reproduce the density of the lines. For the central part, different pads and an arpeggiator with a white noise are used to define the difference between the lines and the white part of the picture. Finally, for the upper part, given the low density of lines, there are acute elements within the track. So that's the way he read, musically speaking, the painting, right? And he did the same for all the paintings. So now there's the idea. We have a new painting, and one that has not been used to train the network, and we create this network, which is this is an artificial neural network. It's made by two parts. The first part has 13 convolutional layers, so this is a convolutional neural network. We know that convolutional neural networks are very good in extracting features from images. Right, that's the way Google can recognize, say, who you are, right? For instance. Now, the second neural network is made by layers of four fully connected layers of neuron and the output of a music. So, in principle, you use the training set with inspiration from the musician to train the network. And now, if you have a new painting, you want to extract a new music on the basis of this previous training. So, these are 10 artworks by Marcello Morandini and 10 music composed by Manuel Salvador, right, on the basis of this inspiration. Maybe you can just listen one or two of them. Because this is the first one, right? First painting. Okay. This one? The left, yeah, all right. Okay, maybe you can take another one. Qual è questo? This one. So this is the creativity part, right? But there is a musician and he tried to get inspired from the painting. Non va avanti. No, it's okay. I think we can move on. Posso andare avanti? Okay. So this is just a bit of mathematics. We are using stochastic minimization algorithms to train the network, and that network, and of course this is aimed at finding the parameters and the hyperparameters that characterize the network. And once you have this loss function which is minimized, then you can train it, and you train it 5 times for every painting because of the fact that being a stochastic minimizer, it does not pick always the same type of minimum. So we had richness in the original interpretation. And now maybe you can see the way you can find music, new music from paintings. And what is interesting to, I would say, to remark here, of course, it needs a bit more of, say, detailed explanation, but the fact that the whole process is nonlinear, the result that you find is actually sounds musically very different, possibly very different than the musics that have been used at the very beginning and that have been, say, decided, determined by the musician. So maybe you can find, we can listen some of the paintings. First one, I don't know. So I want to emphasize the fact that this is music produced by the neural network, not by the composer, okay? We go for the third one and then we stop. Because my time is over. You have another one? No, we don't have it there. Okay, that's fine. I think it's fine. All right, I just wanted to give you the idea of what you can produce by a bit of imagination and some, say, quote, 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 rigorous mathematics. Of course, I'm a bit embarrassed to talk about the rigorous mathematics in front of Terry, but we hope that we have used something that is coherent. And of course, is a come dire, un gioco, right? Is a just for fun. But I believe it's yet another example on how you can use mathematics to get inspired by art, music, but by, generally speaking, by every event of real life. So thank you very much.